So hello guys, welcome back to Techie, and from today I'm starting a new playlist where I will be uploading a lot of machine learning projects so that you can get a good hands-on. So in this video we will be learning how to predict a price of any smartphone. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So as you can see, I have already created a skeleton of the code. तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम सबसे पहले एक डेटा सेट हम अपलोड करेंगे. So I have added the link to the dataset in the description. So to upload it, just click on the folder here, click on upload और बस फाइल सिलेक्ट करके आप अपलोड कर दीजिए and it will get uploaded. So यहाँ पे you can see smartphone clean.csv. So all you have to do is just copy this path और यहाँ पे सबसे पहले we will be importing the libraries. So we will be using pandas much, so I will write import pandas spd and we'll run this cell. नेक्स्ट लाइन में हम लोग डेटा सेट को रीड करेंगे. सो आई विल राइट df इज इक्वल टू pd डॉट रीड अंडरस्कोर csv और यहाँ पे हमारा कॉपीड पाथ हम पेस्ट करेंगे. सो इफ आई शो यू द df, it is something like this, where you have a brand, the model, colors, it has the RAM in GB, the ROM in GB, size of the phone, megapixel of the front camera, rear camera 2, rear camera 3, battery, processor, average rating, and at the end हमारा output column है, that is price. So this is a clean data set. So if you want to know how this data set is getting cleaned and how to do the steps to clean the data set, so please let me know in the comments so that I can put a video on how to clean a messy data set. So you want to see like how the data set was before, तो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. So this is the original data set mobile.csv. So I will show you what it was originally. तो यहाँ पे मैं लिखूँगा pd dot read underscore csv और यहाँ पे मैं इसका पाथ दे दूँगा. So as you can see, पहले it was a very messy data set. जहाँ पे you can see title में we have the brand, the model name, the color and the ROM all in one column. Then in the next few things, like if you can see this highlight, तो highlight में there are a lot of hidden information where you can get the processor, the battery, the megapixels of the camera और ये सब कुछ जो था ये सब highlights के column में seat है. So if you want to know how to clean this data set and make this data set similar to the above one which we are using, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so let's go to the next step. So यहाँ पे अभी हम लोग, as we can already see the shape of the data set, like we have 843 rows and 14 columns. So इसको हम ऐसे भी check कर सकते हैं using the shape function. So I will write df dot shape and you can see I have got the 843 rows and 14 columns. The next thing to do for any data set is to check for the duplicates. So I will write df dot duplicated and when I run it, तो आप देखोगे कि you will get a series जहाँ पे आपको true and false में values हैं. So यहाँ पे false is 0 and true is 1. So if we just do that dot sum and run it, तो जहाँ जितने भी ट्रू वैल्यूज़ होंगे वहाँ पे हमें उनका एडिशन मिल जाएगा. सो यहाँ पे एज यू कैन सी देयर आर 24 रोज विच आर डुप्लीकेटेड. सो वी डोंट नीड द डुप्लीकेटेड रोज, सो हम इसे हटा देंगे. बट बिफोर दैट वी कैन चेक लाइक विच रोज आर डुप्लीकेटेड. सो टू चेक देम ऑल यू कैन डू इज राइट df डॉट डुप्लीकेटेड और इसे हम मास्क कर देंगे. Masking के all you have to do is put it in a square bracket and बाहर again write your df name. So now you can see you have these 24 rows which are duplicated. So we don't need those duplicated rows. So all we can do is drop the duplicates. So for this even we have a function. So we'll write df dot drop duplicates. Just run the command. पर आप ये रन करोगे तो ये आपके ओरिजिनल डेटा सेट में से डुप्लीकेट्स नहीं हटाएगा. इंस्टेड इट विल गिव यू अ न्यू डेटा फ्रेम. So you have two options here, either save this in a new data frame or we have a parameter in this, so we can write in place equals, इसका वैल्यू जब आप ट्रू पास कर दोगे तो ये आपके ओरिजिनल डेटा सेट में चेंजेस कर देगा. So the next thing we have to do is check for the info. So we'll write df.info, and here we get a lot of information about our data. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो we have total 819 entries after removing the duplicates. Then we have the column names, we have the non-null count. Basically अगर आपके किसी भी column में if you have nulls, so you can check it here. So currently हमारे total rows are 819 and यहाँ पे सारे columns में I can see we have 819 values, तो कहीं पे nulls नहीं है. Plus another thing is that you can check the data type of each of the columns here. So object is nothing but the string. You have integer, floats and everything that you can check here. The next thing what we have to do is to check for unique values in our categorical columns. So यहाँ पे categorical columns हमारे पास है brand, model, color and processor. So we'll check for the unique in those columns. So we can write df brand and we have a function name dot unique. So इसको जैसे ही मैं रन करूँगा I will get all the unique values. So as you can see we have a lot of brands here. Some are known, some are not so known. So this is Samsung है, Apple है, Oppo, Vivo and a lot of known brands we have here. Next thing is to look for a unique model. So we will write df model dot unique. So यहाँ पे we have a lot of models, so it will give you a huge list and इसे interpret कर पाना मुश्किल है कि कितने models हैं हमारे पास. In also instead of using unique we will use a function named nUnique which will give you a number of the unique items in the particular column. So as we can see we have a total of 316 unique models in this particular column. By using this type of functions you can find all different and unique values from each of the columns. So the next thing what we have to do is to find the correlation between the numerical columns which we have. So we will write df.core एक function है जो आपको correlation से बताएगा between all the numerical values. So यहाँ पे what you need to do is if you want only the numeric columns का correlation, so we have to pass a parameter named numeric only and we have to pass the value as true. So when you do it you will get a lot of correlations between each of the columns. So again to interpret this is a bit difficult, so it's better to generate a heat map for that. तो हम लोग import करेंगे cbon as SNS and we will generate a heat map. So I will write sns dot heat map and ये जो हमारा correlation है इसे I will save it into a variable named core. So when you see core, it is a chart of the correlations. तो ये core को ही हम यहाँ पे pass करेंगे. So I will run it. So यहाँ पे as you can see we have got a different color for different values, but again it is not much interpretable. तो यहाँ पे we have another parameter named anot and जब आप इसको true कर दोगे and when you run it you can see the numbers displayed on each of these boxes. तो ये कलर क्या रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है कि जितना ये कलर लाइट होता जा रहा है इट इज़ गोइंग टूवर्ड्स 1. सो 1 इज़ द पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन एंड -1 इज़ द नेगेटिव कोरिलेशन. तो ये जितना तो 1 की तरफ जा रहा है द कलर इज़ गेटिंग ब्राइटर एंड जितना ये नेगेटिव 1 की तरफ जा रहा है इट इज़ गेटिंग डार्कर. सो वी कैन इंटरप्रेट फ्रॉम दिस के रोम इन GB का प्राइस के साथ एक बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन है विच इज़ राइट, बिकॉज जैसे जैसे आपका रूम इंक्रीज होगा आपका प्राइस भी इंक्रीज होगा. प्लस इफ़ यू कैन सी whether your phone is having 2 to 3 cameras, तो उसका भी प्राइस के साथ we have a strong correlation, a strong positive correlation. So this is how you can interpret what is going on in your data using a heat map. So next step is that now we can start with the data preprocessing, and you can find more insights from this data, but I am not going to the analytical part right now क्योंकि वीडियो बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा basically. And so let's start with the data preprocessing thing. So सबसे पहले we will divide the data into our input and output part, so that is x and y. So I will write x is equal to df dot drop, as we don't need the output column. We will drop price, और एक्सेस हमें पास करना होता है तो we'll write एक्सेस is equal to 1. So if I show you what this does, so I will copy this code here. And it will return you a data frame जहाँ पे you don't have the price column because you have already dropped the price. Okay. So this is our x, and y will be our df का price. So this is our x and y. The next thing what we have to do is to separate the names of the numerical and categorical columns. So to do this, again we will write num calls, and यहाँ पे I will select x, and I have a function named select d types. तो select d types क्या करेगा, it will give you only those columns which you require. So यहाँ पे अगर मैं include जो पैरामीटर है उसमें if I pass include is equal to number, and if I show you what this code does, so I will just run it over here. So आप देख सकते हो कि हमारे पास सिर्फ वही कॉलम्स है जहाँ पे we have the numeric values. So similarly if I write include की जगह if I write exclude, so it will exclude the numbers and give us all the categorical values, something like this. So what we needed, हमें सिर्फ columns के names चाहिए, तो I will write here dot columns. Dot columns करने से I will get a array of index which is the column name, and when I convert it to list, a function which will convert your array to a list, तो मुझे एक list मिल जाएगा with the name of all the columns. Okay, तो यहाँ पे we will do that. I will write columns dot to list, and it will give us the list of all the numerical columns. Similarly we'll do that for the categorical columns. I will write cat calls is equal to x dot select d types. यहाँ पे we'll write exclude is equal to number dot columns dot to list. Okay, now the next thing is to do the train test split, so that we can train our model on our training dataset, and to check the performance of our model we can use the test dataset. So हमें manually कुछ नहीं करना, we have a library for this. We will write from sklearn dot model selection import train test split, and यहाँ पे will pass xtrain comma xtest ytrain comma ytest is equal to train test split, and यहाँ पे हम पास करेंगे x y, and यहाँ पे we need to give a test set. So we write test size is equal to 0.2. 0.2 is nothing but the 20% of your overall data set. So when you run it, we will get the xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. So यहाँ पे we'll check the size of the xtrain. So I will write xtrain.shape. So now you see we have 655 rows out of 819 rows. So which is nothing but the 80% of the data. And if you check the shape of xtest, तो आपको rest of the 20% देखने मिलेगा, which is 164. Cool. So we will be using some encoding techniques and some scaling techniques like standard scaler, but each of our columns require some different type of transformations. Like numerical will require some scaling techniques and categorical would require some encoding techniques. So I will be using a library named column transformer, which will make our task much easier. So I will write import. So I will write from sklearn dot compose import column transformer. तो कॉलम ट्रांसफॉर्मर क्या करेगा, ये हमारे कॉलम टाइप्स के हिसाब से उसके ऊपर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लगा देगा, जो भी हमें जिस भी टाइप का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन अप्लाई करना है. सो आई विल क्रिएट एन ऑब्जेक्ट नेम ट्रांसफॉर्मर एंड यहाँ पे वी विल टेक द कॉलम ट्रांसफॉर्मर. So column transformer में you have a parameter named transformer. It is transformers, and यहाँ पे all you need to do is pass a list, and in that list you have to pass your columns and transformers. So basically how you have to do is just यहाँ पे in the first tuple you have to give the name. Like let's say we are doing this for the numerical columns, so I will write numerical. And the second thing which you have to pass is the transformer. So numerical columns में हम standard scaler use कर रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे I will import standard scaler, and encoding scaler we will be using one hot encoding. So from sklearn dot preprocessing import standard scaler comma one hot encoding. So यहाँ पे हमने स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर और वन हॉट एनकोडर को इंपोर्ट कर लिया है. सो आई विल यूज दिस स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर फॉर द न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम्स. सो इसको एज अ फंक्शन हमें यहाँ पे कॉल करना है. एंड द थर्ड थिंग विच यू हैव टू पास इज द नेम ऑफ द कॉलम्स. सो हियर वी हैव ऑलरेडी फेच्ड आउट द नेम्स ऑफ अवर कॉलम्स, तो हमें यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली यही पास करना है. सो आई विल राइट नम कॉल्स फॉर ऑल द न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम्स. देन हम लोग एक और टपल पास करेंगे for the categorical columns. So I will write categorical, and the second thing that we have to pass is the transformer. So I will write one hot encoder, and then we have to pass the name of the columns. So we have cat calls. So हमारा transformer ready है. Now we will set up a pipeline which will do all these things in a flow basically. So हम क्या करेंगे, एक पाइपलाइन में क्या होगा कि यहाँ से अगर आपका डेटा इनपुट हो रहा है, if your data is getting imported from one end, तो पहले उसके ऊपर ये ट्रांसफॉर्मर लगेगा, देन हमारा मॉडल उसके ऊपर प्रेडिक्शंस दे के आउटपुट पास करेगा. So to do this we will first import the pipeline. So from sklearn dot pipeline import pipeline. Now the next thing that we need to import is our model. So I will be using random forest. So अगर आपने थोड़ा भी machine learning पढ़ा होगा then you might know कि random forest is one of the outperforming models. So we'll directly use random forest for this. So from sklearn dot ensemble import random forest regressor. So as this is a regression problem, हम random forest regressor use करेंगे. So I will create an object named model is equal to random forest regressor. करंटली मैं इसके कोई भी पैरामीटर्स को टच नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आई वांट टू सी के डिफ़ॉल्ट पैरामीटर्स पे ये क्या रिजल्ट दे रहा है. Now the next thing is that we need to create a pipeline and fit that pipeline to our training dataset. So to create a pipeline, I will first create a pipe object. So I'll write pipe is equal to pipeline. Now here we have a steps parameter जहाँ पे will pass the steps. So first step would be the transformer. तो यहाँ पे हमें एक लिस्ट पास करना है जिसमें हम हमारे स्टेप्स को इन टपल पास कर सकते हैं. So I'll pass a list and यहाँ पे in the first tuple first we'll give the name. So here we have the transformer as the name, which will be our transformer. And second tuple में we have the model. So I will name it as a model and pass करेंगे हमारा model. So this is how our pipeline is created. Now all we have to do is fit this pipeline over our training data set. तो हम लोग करेंगे pipe dot fit x train comma y train, and I will save it in a variable named pipe model. Yeah, so our model has been trained. So now we will take out the predictions on our X test. So I will store it in a variable named preds, and I will write here pipe model dot predict X test. So as you can see, we have got an error. It says found unknown categories JMac Zolo in column 0 during transformation. So why we are getting this error is because यहाँ पर when we were creating this encoder transformer, so we need to pass the first parameter that will be passed is drop. So drop में we will write first. So what it will do, it will drop the first category. If you know how one hot encoding works, ये हमारे पास जितने categories है उतने columns बना देता है. So to reduce the dimensionality, हम हमारा फर्स्ट जो कैटेगरी हो सकता है उसे ड्रॉप कर सकते हैं. एंड द सेकेंड थिंग जिस वजह से हमारा एरर आ रहा था, दैट इज़ हैंडल अननोन. सो हैंडल अननोन में वी विल पास इग्नोर. सो ये क्या करेगा कि हैंडल अननोन जो है, व्हेन यू गेट एनी अदर कैटेगरी विच इज़ नॉट लिस्टेड इन योर करंट डेटा सेट, तो ये उसे इग्नोर कर देगा इंस्टेड ऑफ थ्रोइंग अप एन एरर. सो विल रन इट अगेन. We will train our model again, and now when we predict, we won't be getting any error. So as you can see, हमारे पास predictions आ चुके हैं. And the next thing that we have to do is of course evaluate the model. So we will be evaluating using the R2 score and RMSE metrics. So let's import them. So from sklearn dot metrics import R2 score and mean squared error. ओके, तो मैं एक स्कोर करके एक वेरिएबल बना दूंगा जहाँ पे वी विल पास R2 स्कोर and in this we will pass our preds and our y test. So y test is nothing but our actual prices, and preds are the prices that are predicted from our model. So ये दोनों में जो भी डिफरेंस होगा that will be our error, कि हमारा मॉडल कितना एरर कर रहा है. ओके, सो स्कोर हमें मिल गया है. नाउ वी विल क्रिएट RMSE. So we'll be using mean squared error. So पहले we will pass preds and y test and the parameter is squared. अगर आप squared को जो by default true होता है, इसको अगर आप false करोगे तो you will get the root mean squared error. Okay, so let's print those. So I will write print R2 होगा हमारा score, and again we will print the RMSE. तो RMSE would be our RMSE. So as you can see, our model is doing good. Like we have scored 92% of R2 score and RMSE हमारा है 6962 like an approx of 7000 का difference बता रहा है for each price. So if you twerk this model little, let's say if अगर हम यहाँ पे जो decision trees है उनको थोड़ा बढ़ा दे या if I do some hyperparameter tuning, so we can increase the accuracy. So let's try with increasing the number of trees. So I will write n estimators जो by default 100 होता है, I will do it 200. Now when we run it again and train the model, so now हमारा जो random forest regressor है वो 200 decision trees पे run हो रहा है. So let's take out the predictions again and now if we see तो accuracy थोड़ा सा increase हो चुका है. As you can see पहले 92 था, अब 93 है. So this way you can just tweak those hyperparameters. You have a lot of hyperparameters in random forest. Play with that and आप ये accuracy nearly 97-99 तक आप pull कर सकते हो इसको. So there is a slight difference of like let's say 6,500 rupees का difference we can see in our prediction and actual price. So let's compare both of our data frames. So I'll create a data frame first. So I will write pd dot data frame. I will pass my y test and इसको स्टोर कर दूंगा मैं एक test df में and इस test df में again I will add a column named predictions जो हमारे predictions थे and ये होंगे हमारे preds के value. So now if I check test df, so we can compare both of our values side by side. So as you can see जहाँ पे price था 34,990, our prediction is 34,491. So kind of amazing, like सिर्फ 500 rupees का difference है यहाँ पे. Somewhere you can find के 1,000-1,500 rupees का difference है, कहीं पे 1,000 rupees का difference है and so on. So on an average आपका एक 6,000 के आसपास एक difference आ रहा है. So it is kind of a good thing. You can increase this accuracy more and lower down the RMSE जिससे difference और कम हो जाए. Now the next thing is to check the prices on Flipkart. So what we will do, मैं X test देखता हूँ. तो X test में we have a lot of models जिनके ऊपर हमारे मॉडल ने प्रिडिक्शन किया है ओरिजिनल प्राइस पे. So let's say I want to find the original price of this Vivo V23 5G Black 8GB RAM and 128 GB ROM. तो इसका एक्चुअल प्राइस इफ़ यू कैन सी इट इज़ 34,990. हमारे मॉडल ने दिया है 34,490. ओके, बिकॉज एज यू कैन सी द इंडेक्स नंबर इट इज 16 एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो 16. सो लेट्स गो ऑन टू फ्लिपकार्ट. It's Vivo V23 5G. So right, Vivo V23 5G. So if I go on Flipkart, so yeah, as you can see, इसका original price is 34,990 for 256 GB. Yeah, for 256 GB and 8 GB RAM. Its original price is 34,990. And we won't be predicting the discounted price because discounted price कुछ भी हो सकता है, ये बहुत वेरी करता है. तो we are predicting the original price of the particular handset. So this is 34,990 and our model has predicted like 34,490, which is quite good. We are almost there. So that's all for today guys, that this was the project, and you can definitely add this kind of projects in your resume if you are a beginner, and you can also do the practice and you can do hands-on on such kind of projects, and it will definitely boost up your confidence in machine learning. So thanks for watching, and we'll soon meet up in the next video.